Did the Chernisky Classic this morning. It's a 5K/10K on the Ghost Town Trail starting up in Evansburg. Finished second overall in the 5K and a little under 19. The course itself was like actually 3.3, so like 0.2 longer. Not a big deal, but so if knock 30 seconds off of that for like a 5K/a minute to get my like actual 5K time. So I would say like right around 18 minutes, 18-15, somewhere in there, because I didn't necessarily go balls to the wall. But anyway, it was a decent crowd this morning. A lot of high school cross-country kids there. Wasn't sure what to expect. A lot of older guys as well. I'd throw that out there. Proceeds like help like the fire academy up here in Cambria County, so I wanted to come and support it since I haven't gotten to do it before. I mean, I've ran the trail, but I haven't ran the actual race to support the cause, so finally got to do it this year. It was a little hot and humid. Car says only 71 right now, but I'll tell you what, that heat and humidity outside makes it feel like 90. I know we were dripping for a long time after the race, probably 20-30 minutes before I even stopped completely being saturated in sweat from my head to my toes. Even my compression shorts, my balls were just saturated with moisture. Anyway, I didn't even sign up until like Wednesday at 11:55 p.m., like 5 minutes before the deadline to register online, because I was still going to do Ironstone 100K. I was debating on that, but health-wise, still not 100%. So I figured do this, at least get a race in and see how I do. Just trying to do some 5Ks right now, building myself back up a little bit. But at the start line, it's a mass start, so the only way to tell who's doing the 5 and who's doing the 10 is just by a sticker on the bib. 5Ks had red, 10Ks had green. I think 10Ks had green. Either way, I just know the 5Ks had red because that's what I had. So unless you were like really scouting around at everybody's bib, you really didn't know who was going to be running what until the split/turnaround area. So it made it kind of interesting. I know as we took off, there was maybe like 10 people in the lead group. Then I quickly narrowed down to like 5 of us. And then I was 4th at the time. For like half a mile or so that I passed the 10K winner after that. And he passed me right again as the race splits. I was originally going to pace off of him the whole time out, but I just was feeling comfortable and wanted to go a little faster, not let top 2 get too far ahead of me at the time. I was trying to use them as well to like pace and see how that they were doing, and really only run as fast as I needed to. You know, because I was still trying to win, but I wasn't going to go and blow up, and I also wasn't going to, you know, let the top spots like get so far ahead of me that it would have been impossible to even like make a move, if possible, if that makes any sense. So that's why I was pacing off the 10K winner, who was in 3rd at the time, and then when I passed him, I was using the top 2 to judge, keep them close. They were only 5-ish seconds ahead of me, you know, for the most part, until the race split. The 10K stays on the main branch of the Ghost Town Trail. The 5K made a right-hand turn on one of the newer, I think like Buell Road or something like that. I don't even know what it's called, but it's like a newer extension up in Evansburg. And then I saw the 10K winner like stay to the left. I'm like, whew, thank goodness. I was like, all right. So now I got two fast kids ahead of me. I was like, I don't know what's behind me. I didn't look behind me at all. Try not to play the mental game. And I was actually, the whole time on the way out, I was like, all right, where's this group of youngsters that are just gonna like overtake me? I was like, I'm waiting for it. It never came, so I was so happy. But I mean, I still wanted the competition. It was good competition, but I was just expecting the way I've been feeling and the way some of these younger kids looked. I was like, man, they're gonna drop like 16s, low 17, 5Ks. I was like, there's no way I can compete with that. So I was like, they're just gonna swarm me at some point, but they didn't. Actually, a lot of them ended up doing the 10K and not the 5K, so that helped a little bit. But there were still a lot of them in the 5. And as we headed out on the split, we took that right again. I know I was noticing, I was like, all right, should be seeing the turnaround, and I wasn't. And it ended up being, again, we got 2/10 long for the race, so it was like a 1/10 longer for the turnaround. Then I was like, all right, I'm still within striking distance of first. I want to say within striking distance. I mean, like, if he fades a little bit and I push, something, you know, could happen. Second, I was close and I felt confident I could at least hang with him for the most part. And then I was looking at my watch, and I know I had 30 seconds on the turnaround from like 4, 5, 6. There was like a little group together, and I had 30 seconds before I passed with them, so I had a full minute on that little group, so that gave me a lot of relief in my race. I was like, all right, so there's no reason that I can't take top 5, because top 5's we're given like medal awards. That's really what I was going for today, was to try to get top 5. Well, I mean, I wanted to obviously win, but was definitely trying to get a top 5 for I could get one of those cool medal awards. Wish I could grab it, but oh yeah, I can. I don't know how it looks in the video, but you know, it says like 5K and then a date on it and stuff like that. Made locally, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, so I knew I had a minute, so I got to relax mentally a little bit. But I was pushing. I think the first mile was like a 5:35, so not terribly fast. Like, I'm not like, that's not like complete red line race pace, but it's also not slacking either. It's just like right under like a red line race pace. And I think even the second mile was in the 5s. And it was just like the third mile was like a 7. And I was just like, what the hell is going on here? But it's also like downhill on the way out, uphill on the way back, which makes a huge difference. So I was using that free speed on the way out. And on the way back, you obviously had to work a little bit harder. And I know everybody else was saying the same thing. It just, like, their paces, like the top guys were like, paces were 7s as well. And they were wondering what's going on. Even like the women who were running said the same thing, that like their paces like dropped by like a minute. Whether that's GPS or not, which actually may be a factor, because it could be a little sketchy sometimes on the trail, but we'll see that. But it just felt like on the way back, granted it's uphill and you're going to be working harder to maintain it, it just felt like I couldn't drop into the 6s at all. It was like a low, I think like 7:10, 7:15 for the most part, which is all right. And then, well, both ways, on the way out and the way back, certain points there was like people, there was a bunch of people on the trail just not racing, just on the trail use. But there was also a lot of people just walking it, because if you could do the race, and if you didn't want to be timed and just walk it at your leisure or whatever, just like basically a donation, you could start earlier. It was like a rolling start from, we'll say like 8 to 9:05, because that's when we started. Might be a little bit earlier, maybe it was 7:30 that it could have started. So there was a lot of people ahead of us, so we had to weave in and out of a lot of people. And on the way back as well, like, just not only the people still heading out on the course, the 5K and 10Kers that are running the course, but the people that started early, you know, just enjoying themselves, supporting the cause, which is awesome. You know, weaving around them all the time. So not being at first, I didn't have to worry about being the sole guide doing that, and even being like right behind second place at the time. You know, he was doing a lot of that work, weaving in and out, which took a lot, I'd say, more energy to do, because I feel like I burn up a lot more energy when I have to weave in and out. So I was letting him do all the work and just following his lines. Got to do it smart sometimes. There was a lot of firemen this year. Firemen wear their turnout gear for the race. So it makes it kind of interesting. Most of them, I would say, started early, so we were passing them a little bit. I don't know. I was slowly gaining on second. I wasn't like really putting on a move because it was still early in the race. I would say like after 2.1 miles, I was like, I'm slowly catching second, but I was like, don't make a move right now and try to push. Because normally, you know, like a rolling hill course or like a trail course, I would try to push a little bit and try to burn up somebody, you know, like, because then they'll get in their head, you know, that they got past, and so they're gonna like push a little bit harder and try to burn them up a little bit. But it was a little too early, so I just slowly gained on him, and I think by like 2.5 is when I passed him. And then I just hung in the second from there. Did look back a little bit. I think he faded. I think he said he gave up, but I think it was after I passed him is when he gave up. But it was really hot today, and it was really humid. I think that played a factor in our times as well. Why everybody was having such a hard time on the way back with the uphill and the humidity. I think it was just sucking the life out of everybody. So, I don't know. I would say with the heat and humidity, probably added on another 30 seconds to our times. At least the effort that I felt like I was actually putting in, that played a factor. But yeah, I hung on to second. There was a bunch of people watching today, cheering towards the finish line. I can't speak for the 10K because I didn't really get to see too much of that. But like I said, the 5K was a little long, but they already promised they're going to fix that. And I think the 10K was 6.6, so that was long as well. But we already made plans to fix it. So nobody will have to worry about that next year. I mean, it was a good atmosphere. I'm glad I went and got to see some friends today. We had some chocolate milk after the race. Crap. There was some electrolyte vendor there. From Scratch. Might have been Scratch or something. One of the local gym people was there selling that. Surf Pro was there handing out water. Surf Pro always does a bunch of that stuff for their local races. And then I think, yeah, Central Cambria cross country timed the race. So that was nice of them. Just a lot of donations for like the Fire Academy and stuff like that. I believe it's a Fire Academy. It's something to do with like, yeah, I believe it's Cambria County Fire Academy. Whatever, all proceeds go to them. I don't know, I guess my legs felt good. My body felt pretty good. I didn't really get to listen to music. I had it on, but I wasn't really like tuned in. I was more concentrating on like race strategy in my head, you know, trying to figure out what to do with the people ahead of me and waiting for people to pass me. So I wasn't really paying attention to the music. I heard it a little bit. I think Uchiwali came on. That was about the only song I can remember offhand. Oh, Tomahawks, Chopper was there, the mascot. So if you did the race, you get a voucher for Tomahawks game this season. So that's nice of them to do that. Just basically the race supports different businesses and such like that. Like Up and Running, you can get your bib the night before. So it's like a community event, like where everybody scratches each other's back, which is cool. I'm trying to think what else to say about it. I don't know. I guess I enjoyed it, even though it's rail trail. You know how I feel about that. I know the one thing that did set me back today is I forgot calf sleeves again. I keep forgetting my calf sleeves. I mean, it does set me back a little bit, just because I can feel the acid build up in my legs more. Because since when I race, I'm used to having them, so it keeps the acid from building up. So when I don't wear them, I can feel like my legs getting a little bit more tired. I definitely noticed a difference today, but it's only a 5K, so I can also push through it. But it might cost me a few seconds, time-wise. But yeah, I still feel good now. I didn't have any issues today. So I think I'm starting to get better, even though I had such a shitty fourth race, like where my legs just gave out. The last couple of days of training, I think started to put me back on the end, the bend or whatever. Today's the 8th, so like 4 days ago I really hit like a low point, and maybe that's what I needed, was like a very low point. Because you know, once you hit the lowest point, the only way to go is up. So maybe I'm back on the upward spiral. The guy who won today was definitely faster. He at least said on track it was like 16 something, was just like 5K PR. Even if he did like a 17 and a half, I don't know if I had it in me, if like I had my A game. Like, I don't think my endurance and legs are that good yet to be able to like compete with that. Because I think he finished like a minute ahead. But maybe I could have closed the gap a little bit. I really don't think I could have won, but I'm happy with second. And just happy that I didn't get swarmed by like 100 high school kids today. That are in better shape. At least look like they're in better shape than my flabby ass. So we'll see how it goes. Again, the next couple weeks, I'm just gonna bang out some like 5s and 10s, build up my endurance and speed again before I try anything harder. So, guess that's about it for today. Checking out next year the Chernisky Classic on the Ghost Town Trail up at the Evansburg trailhead, right above the Young People's Community Center. If you get a chance, it's for a good cause, and you'll like it.